Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now in this video we are going to look at a coding question which is the packet stream player, and it is one of the very important questions which are asked by many different companies, and it is kind of a question based on numbers and powers. And in this video we are going to look at the code for the same, and I will also explain you how it works. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already, and also join our Telegram channel for all the updates on our latest videos and the quizzes which we take on a regular basis, for which you can use them to test your preparation for your upcoming exam, that is Wipro NLTH, for the batches mentioned here. So let's look at the code and start cracking it. So the question is, a stream of n packet arrives at a video player. The player accepts streams in different packet sizes. All packets are repackaged to the highest power of 2 to the power n before processing. The remaining packets are processed with the next stream of packets using the same protocol. You need to find the size of the largest repackaged packet processed by the video player. So the set of input here is given as follows. So t is the number of test cases which we are looking at, following which we have list of numbers containing some packets, and we have to output the largest repackaged packet by the video player. So let's look at the sample input and output in this case. So first of all we have 2, that is the number of test cases we are dealing with, and then we have the input, for which we have two different set of numbers as an input, for which we got the output 8 and 16. So for the first set of input, which is 15, 5, 8, 6 and 12, we have the sample output as 8, and for the second one, which has 13, 25, 12, 2 and 8, we have the sample output as 16. So now let's look and understand as to how we arrived at this output. So starting with the first set of input, if you see, the first packet is of size 15, and since our machine will be processing the packets in the powers of 2 to the power n, so 2 to the power 3 is less than 15 and 2 to the power 4 is going to be 16, which is greater than 15. So one space gets remained, and it does not process it efficiently, so we are going with 2 to the power 3, which means the whole set of 2 to the power n is getting processed by the music stream player at once. So the processed packet size is going to be 2 to the power 3. Now 2 to the power 3 is nothing but 8, so 8 packets are processed at a time. So now the remaining packets will be 15 minus 8, which is 7. So now the next packet which arises, that is 5, we are going to add 7 to it, which adds up to 12. Now again the same protocols will be repeated. So 2 to the power 3 is again less than 12, and 2 to the power 4 is again greater than 12. So the process packet size will again be nothing but 8. And in this case, since our total packet size was 12 and the number of packets processed is 8, so the difference remains is 4, which will be added to the next arriving packet, which is 8. So 8 plus 4 will be 12, and then we have again the result as 12. So again we go with the same set of procedures. So again 2 to the power 3 is less than 12 and 2 to the power 4 is greater than 12, so we go with 2 to the power 3. So the processed packet size will again be 8, and the remaining packet size will be nothing but 4. So the next set of input will be 6, and we add the remaining packets which were 4, so the answer will be 10. Now again 2 to the power 3 is less than 10 and 2 to the power 4 is greater than 10. So the processed packet size here again will be 8, and the remaining packets will be 2, and the last input we have is 12. So again the processed packet size will be 8, because 2 to the power 3 is less than 14, and 2 to the power 4, which is 16, is greater than 14. So process packet size will again be nothing but 8. So now we have the remaining packets as 4, and all the values inside of our list has been processed. But since these remaining packets need to be processed as well, we find that the remaining packets are 4 and 2 to the power 2 is nothing but 4. So what we have finally is the number of packets processed, and we have the list of numbers which you can see on screen is the number of packets processed at once by the music player, and here the maximum packet size will be 8. So you can see that the maximum value in the list which we see on screen right now is 8. So representing the same in a tabular format will be much better. So here the values which are indicated in bold are nothing but the values which are provided in the list of numbers, and then we have the difference calculated in the powers of 2, and then we have the difference calculated wherein we are finding 2 to the power nth power, which is less than our stream size, and then the difference is passed on to the next input value, and this same protocol is repeated where we find the size of the streams processed and we output the maximum size of the processed stream. The similar case is going to be true for the set of second input which we receive, where the stream size first is 13, then 25, then 12, then 2, then 8, and we are following the same procedure here as well. As you can see that the stream process size are 8, 16, 16, 8, and again 8, and at last we will have of value 4 in this case here. So the maximum value in this case of the processed stream will be 16. So that is how we arrive at the output 8 and 16 which we saw in our sample output. So now let's look at the code and try to figure out how we can achieve this solution. So the same question has been written over here as you can see, and the sample input and output which we have seen in our slides right now is also mentioned over here. So now let's look at how do we arrive at the answer which we saw right now. So first of all, what you need to do is we need to handle the input. So let's write the code for it. So I will write for underscore in range int input. So our input will be handled in this loop wherein we are getting a list of numbers. So let's write say a will be the list which we are getting, and it will have the integer values. So we have defined our list, and let's write a function which will have a parameter that is our list, and that function will be defined in a minute. And I want to directly print the output from this function in our main function. Now let's write, or in other words, let's define our function say answer, and it will have a parameter that is the list of numbers. Now I want to create another list here, and what will be the purpose of this list here? It will store the processed packet sizes, and from this list we are going to evaluate the maximum value which is going to be our final answer. Also, I want to create a variable say d that will be the difference. For what purpose I am defining d, you will come to know in a few minutes. Again, I want to define a flag variable which will be set to true initially. Now iterating over the list which we have, that is the list A. So I shall write for I in range length of our list, that is list A. Now I don't want to calculate it every time, so I am going to define L equals to length of A. So for I in range L is nothing but range of length of our list A. Again, inside this loop we are going to write another for loop. So I will write for j in range. Again we are going to iterate over the length of A, or up till the length of A. Now what we are going to do is create a variable say x, and in this variable x we are going to store the ith element of our list A, and we are going to add the difference d to it. Now since the packet sizes are always going to be in the power of 2, so there can be two cases. There can be a case wherein our packet size is either greater than or equal to the size of our input. So in that case we are going to write two different if conditions, because there will be two different scenarios for both of them. So what I want to do is first of all, let's write it for the case where the power of the ith variable is going to be equal to our input. So I will write if 2 to the power j plus 1 is equal to x. If that is the case, we are going to append our answer inside of our value list. Now what we did here in this case is that if our power of the ith, or in this case of the jth variable, is going to be equal to the value of x, then in that case we are going to append this value. Now why did I write j plus 1? It is very obvious, because we are starting it from 0. So 2 to the power 0 will evaluate to 1, and that won't be the case, because in these kind of questions you won't start from 0, and it will be exclusively mentioned in your question. So always still ensure that if it is mentioned in your question, you need to know how to handle those cases as well. Again, after writing this statement, we should also perform an operation which will be d equals to 0. And let's write the second one, which will be if 2 to the power j plus 1 is greater than x. So if the value which we have in the power of 2 becomes greater than the set of input, in that case we know that at this point the value is going to be greater. So at the previous point the value was for sure smaller than x. So what we can do is val dot append 2 to the power j. So we are dealing with the powers in terms of j plus 1. So the jth variable will be the one just before it. So we are going to append that value inside of our list, that is value list, and we are going to calculate the difference now, since there will be a slight difference since 2 to the power j plus 1 went beyond x. So there will be a difference which we need to add in our next input, for which we define the variable d, and now it will be equal to x minus 2 to the power of j. So this is the difference which we have calculated, and we will simply break from this loop. Now what do you think, that we have completed the problem here? The answer is no, obviously, because we have not dealt with the last or the corner case, which is what will happen if all the value of our input list have finished. There can be a case where the difference which we have, which we calculated up till now, is still remaining, and in that case we need to still process it as well. We have not finished processing all the streams yet, so we need to write something for it as well again. So coming outside of the for loop, we will check if the value of d is greater than 0. If that is the case, then we are going to create a variable, say I, and set it to 1. Now we are going to use the flag variable which we declared already, and what we are going to check here is that, so if d divided by 2 to the power I is less than 1, if that is the case, then we are going to append the value 2 to the power I minus 1 inside of our list, and I will explain you what we are trying to do. And once we do that, we are going to set the flag variable to false, and as we have already discussed in our previous videos, we need to deal with the while loop in a proper manner. So we need to set the variable I to increment if we finish this part, so our while loop is handled properly. Now what we are doing in the line number 40 is that if the denominator, that is d divided by 2 to the power I, so the denominator here is 2 to the power I, once it becomes greater than d, the answer will go beyond 0. So your answer might be in decimal, but it is still less than 1, which means that there is a value which is going beyond the value of d. So the value which is just coming before 2 to the power I is the value which is the required value that can process the remaining streams or the difference which we have. So that has to be appended into our list. And now what we can do is, for test case purposes, we can print this list. So what we can do is print the value of our list, and we will also try to check if we are finding the correct answer or not. So for that purpose we need to modify our line number 49 a little bit, and I will just call the function answer and pass the list of numbers which we have. So let's try to run this program and see if it is working correctly. So as you can see that in this case, for the first set of input, we have a list which contains 5, 8 and 1, 4, and in the second case we have 2, 16, 3, 8 and 1, 4. Now we have completed our program 99%, but that is not the output which they have expected. So you have to just return the maximum value from the list which you have created, that is val. So return max val will be the line of code which I would write, and I will erase this line here and simply call the line number 49, and let's run and test it again. So as you can see, the output here is 8 and 16, which is equal to the values which we have in our sample input and output. So let's look at an overview of what we actually did. So first of all, we defined two for loops in which we are first trying to get the values from our list and adding a certain difference to it. If there is some power of 2 which is equal to the input value, then in that case we are going to append the value, that is 2 to the power j plus 1, inside of our value list, and we are going to set the value of difference equals to 0 because there was no difference calculated in this case. and if the value is going to be greater than x, then we have to append the value which has a power less than the current power inside of our value list, and we have to calculate the difference d. Now you might wonder why we wrote the line number 31, that is d equals to 0, in the case where 2 to the power j plus 1 is equal to x. This is because if the value which we are calculating becomes equal to the input, in that case there will be no difference. However, for any case where we have already calculated a value and d holds a non-zero number, in that case for further inputs the value of d will be affecting the input, because we are going to add it at the line number 27 for each set of input which we get. That is why we have to restore it to 0 every time we encounter any such value which is equal to x. So in short, if 2 to the power j plus 1 becomes equal to x, then in that case we have to append that value and we have to set the value of d to 0. And similarly, once we have done processing the numbers, we have to check if d, that is the difference which we have calculated up till the last number of our list, if it is greater than 0, which means that if any set of streams still remain to be processed, then we have to write some logic to process it again, which is different from the one which we wrote here. And in that manner we have solved this question. So I hope you got something out of this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and join the Revox family. Also, I would like you to join our Telegram channel, wherein we discuss all these questions, and also we provide you some kind of quizzes which you can use to test your knowledge. As a kind reminder to everyone watching these videos, we have started crash courses on our channel, wherein you can go and watch different kind of aptitude videos which we have provided for the upcoming Wipro NLTH examination. So once again, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, and as always, keep learning and keep programming.